So, there were some GTA 6 leaks. Um, Most of this info will be lifted from an IGN article written by Joe Screbbles. So, it will apparently have a female Latino lead protagonist, like we've heard rumored a very long time ago. It will be a Bonnie and Clyde inspired story of two bank robbers. And there have been rumors that they might be like siblings, but there's also been people saying that they might be like lovers. So who knows? Um, and I can only assume you'll probably play as both because that's been kind of like a thing that they've been doing in GTA lately. So I don't think they'll change it now. So they'll
In
give
true GTA fashion, I think they might be both.
yeah. It will apparently start in Vice City, but new cities will be added via updates. And it will have more interior areas than any other GTA has ever had. Which I've told you this before. I think games, instead of expanding outward, should expand inward and have more interior areas and underground areas and higher areas and stuff like that. And I'm glad that Rockstar's doing that. It was codenamed Project Americas due to its original plan to include large territories across North and South America, which was scrapped to avoid crunch. But it seems like they're still going to be doing the same thing, but instead of doing it all at once, they're going to like release they're going to release a certain portion of the story. Maybe, it'll be probably a complete story, but in like future DLC, it'll, GTA 5 has been around for what, 7 years? It's been around for a very long time. Almost 10, right? Because it came out 2013? Jesus Christ. GTA 5 has almost been around for 10 years, Amir. Where is time gone? I'm about to be 22 years old. Oh no, this is the wrong time to have existential crisis. Um, but yeah, GTA 5 has almost been around for 10 years, and it seems like they plan on um because I don't think it was planned from the get go that GTA would go on this long, but it got so popular with GTA Online that they decided to milk it for all that they could while also working on other games. Which for some reason people think that they weren't also working on other games at the same time. Games just take a long time to make. Red Dead Redemption 2 took almost 10 years. So it makes sense that a newer game like GTA 6 would take even longer or just as long. So it seems like now they're gonna actively be going out of their way to kind of, I'm gonna say milk, but not necessarily milk, but to like a Destiny, like a what are those type of games called? Games as a service, right? Like those type of games. It seems like they're gonna try to attempt that model with GTA 6, and you're gonna have your story, you're gonna have your online, but they're gonna slowly add more. They're gonna slowly add more areas and more story missions and probably more online stuff, like as the game exists. So probably for like 10 years they're gonna support that, maybe even more at this point. And that is interesting to say the least. Is I guess it really just depends on if that stuff will cost money and how much money that will cost. And also how much, like how big will the base game be? Will it be worth full price, or will they try to shortchange us by having, because they're going to add more, have the main game be smaller and shorter than it should be? But we'll see. It may launch between April 2023 and March 2024. Probably, I'm betting around 2024, 2025. But the developers say that it's at least 2 years away, like an actual developer, a person who worked on the game. So I would be more inclined to believe them. Um, I'm going to read this quote directly from an article, the IGN article. Much of the report focuses on progressive changes at Rockstar in recent years, including more inclusive office culture, a focus on reducing crunch and removal of abusive managers. Excuse me. Conversation of contractors and full time employee as into flip. I'm sorry, I completely butchered that sentence. Conversion of contractors into full time employees and a restructure to improve working conditions. Morale is said to be higher at the company as a result, and one source has said Rockstar was a boys club transformed into a real company. So essentially, Rockstar has gone through a transformation of going from a horrible company that crunched, that treated contractors horribly, and was probably a place where people got sexually harassed, specifically women. And now they're starting to make some significant changes to fix all of those things. They're looking into hiring contractors full time, make it less of a boys club, and firing abusive managers and stuff like that. And that's always a good thing to hear. So before I go into this last related thing, how do you feel about this?
I'm just salty that Red Dead Redemption Online got
Oh
like
my god,
canned.
bro.
I'm sorry. That's the only thing I care about whenever I hear Rockstar is the fact that they canned this.
I'm so
Anyway,
mad that they did that because they easily could have just made it as good as GTA Online and milked that for money as well. They're a big studio. They could have done it. At the very least, the only thing I want is Undead Nightmares 2. Because they teased it so hard with that vampire. And it made everybody go, oh my god, Undead Nightmare 2 is probably gonna have vampires and werewolves and like probably like, I don't know, Frankenstein's monster or like mummies or something like that. And I was like, probably, and it'll be cool. But no. God damn it. I'm so mad. That would have been so cool. I really wish we got an
it's
Undead
just like
Nightmares too.
they keep milking GTA Online, but there's so many people that want Red Dead 2 Online to thrive. And the last thing they did was add a bounty hunting update like a year and a half ago and then just stop touching it and then announce that they're not working on it anymore. Like, are you serious? Really? Really?
They didn't even
And
try.
yes, I want Undead Nightmares 2 so bad. Cowboys and like the supernatural go together so well. It
So
could be
well.
so good.
So well. It's, man, I want it. I need it. But speaking of Red Dead, because I'm so glad that you transitioned this to Red Dead because that's the last thing I have to talk about. So since the main one of the main characters, because it's likely gonna be two, and you switch between them, of Red Dead, GTA 6 will be a woman. I want Red Dead 3 to have a female protagonist, specifically Sadie Adler from Red Dead Redemption 2, because I feel like they're kind of making it obvious that that's where they're going next. Because spoiler alert for both games. I assume I wouldn't be spoiling you at all, Amir.
No, I haven't completed the main story, but like I know like everything about the main story. Like
Yeah, so
you wouldn't be spoiling it.
spoiler alert for Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2. So the main characters of both those games are dead. So whenever they make a third one, which they inevitably will, the main character will be someone new, or maybe it will be someone old, like John's son. But if I had to guess, I feel like they might move forward with Sadie as the main character because they set her up as one of the coolest characters in the entirety of the franchise. She's one of my favorite characters in the game in the franchise right now. And maybe they go GTA route and you play as two characters, and one of them is Sadie and one of them is John Marston. Excuse me. Is his son name also John?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I'm gonna look it up. But how would you feel about a Red Dead Redemption 2 where you play as Sadie?
Okay, so with the epilogue of Red Dead
His name is Jack.
2, Jack Marston. Okay, so with the epilogue of Red Dead 2, you really could, and I know you're not gonna like this, but you really could make it so that John is the main character of Red Dead 3, or like John and Sadie. If you do like a multiple protagonist thing, it could be John and Sadie. But like, they could just bring back John and like retcon Red Dead 1.
No,
So,
that
like,
ending was
they hinted
amazing.
towards that.
That was one of the greatest endings of all the video games. You can't just ruin that.
I mean, they hinted at retconning that, or at least like joked about retconning that. Like with the epilogue of Red Dead 2, they really could.
No, I feel
They
like
really could.
the epilogue of Red Dead 2 was just filling in the gaps, really.
They could really retcon it.
I don't think
and
they
I
will.
wouldn't mind it.
I don't think they will though. I think if anything
I wouldn't mind it.
It'll be Jack or Sadie. I think. Like I don't.
I feel like it is gonna be like I feel like Sadie's a like surefire.
Yeah, it's just
But-
a matter of like when it'll take place. Like, will it take place what Sadie was doing during all the stuff with John when he was going after all of his old gang members, or will it take place after? Because I feel like the further you go, the further you get away from the Wild West. You know. Because this already
All I
takes
want-
place in the early 1900s, so we're already getting really close towards like it no longer being the Wild West and it being more like that early 1920s, like that era, which I feel like in the next Red Dead there'll be like way more big cities.
I hope so, because whatchamacallit was
Saint Denis was one of the funnest
Yeah,
places
Saint
to
Denis.
be. It was
It's-
so fun to be in Saint Denis.
also at night it has a really, really creepy aesthetic. Which
does.
brings me to my next thing.
When you run into that
I
vampire.
want Wait, what were you saying?
I said like when you run into that vampire.
Yeah, no, it gets foggy and like the swamp area already reminds me of Hunt Showdown, which if you haven't played Hunt Showdown, you really should. It's a very interesting game. We'll talk about that like probably off podcast. But like the swamp area already reminds me of Hunt Showdown, but then like it has a creepy aesthetic like in the actual city at night, and this just makes me want like The Witcher, but like in a cowboy era, like basically you're like a cowboy hunting down supernatural. That's all I want.
Yeah, I've had
That's
an idea
all
of
I
a
want.
game similar to that for so long, and I was like, man, that would be fun. That would be so fun.
Like an entire like open world game, side quests, you can take on like monster hunts and stuff like that, and it just all takes place in the Wild West. I would love that so much.
Yeah,